Hey guys, it's me, Lyra. The reason I'm making this video isn't to bring attention to myself. But believe me, that's the last thing that I want. It's more based on the fact that last night I read a BuzzFeed article about a girl with diabetes really explaining what diabetes looks like. Because people don't seem to understand that. People think that once they hear someone has diabetes, they immediately think, oh, that person ate too much sugar. And when you're a kid who's diagnosed at a very young age, that's really something you don't want to hear. They don't want to think, oh, we ate too much chocolate or candy when we were little, and that's why we were diagnosed at the age of 5. Well, that's kind of why I'm here now. I've never really told you my story, because I never thought anyone would be interested in hearing it until recently when I joined an app called Beyond Type 1, and I get so much advice from them, so much guidance, so much support, that the confidence about my diabetes really grew. It makes me want to tell my story to more people, to realize what I go through on a daily basis, because diabetes is not easy. I mean, I was diagnosed 10 years ago, it's been a lot different. There's been a lot more advances in the diabetes world, but in the diabetes community. But even all those advances, it's still not easy. There's a lot of highs and lows, quite literally. Yeah. I mean, when I was diagnosed when I was 9, I didn't even know what was happening. I just thought, oh, I'm just going to the bathroom a lot. It's no big deal. Oh, it's because I'm just really thirsty. I was 9 years old. I didn't think anything of it. Until I went to the doctor, and little naive me just thought it was a camp checkup because I was going to my first year of sleepaway camp, when it was really for the doctor to make a diagnosis. And that's another thing. That year, my parents are the most supportive people in my life, along with my sister, my grandmother, my entire family. And that year was my sister's bat mitzvah, and it was my first year of sleepaway camp. People thought my parents were crazy to think to let me go to sleepaway camp, not even 3 months after I was diagnosed with diabetes. They had faith in me, and I was 9 years old. They didn't want me to be labeled as the girl with diabetes. I mean, obviously I have diabetes, but they want me to experience everything. I've done so much in my life. I'm in college now. I'm going to be a junior at college. Again, this is just not all about me. This is just about people not realizing that diabetes isn't easy. Luckily for me, I've only been hospitalized twice in 10 years from diabetes complications, and there are so many people who have had it a lot worse than I have with diabetes. But unfortunately, it's not a contest about how many times you've been hospitalized. It's not. Now, there's another reason for this video, and ironically, I didn't even realize it until yesterday. 95 years ago, 2 scientists created a medicine, and they injected it into a diabetic dog as a little test to see if it worked. And after they injected the medicine, they realized the blood glucose went down, blood sugars. And that medicine is in this little vial called insulin. Now, this little vial, this is very powerful medicine. Too much of it, I could end up in the hospital, and too little of it, I could end up in the hospital. People don't. What diabetes looks like is people trying to count carbs because 20 carbs for a certain meal might work for someone else, but it might be too much for another person or too little. Like it might work for 20 carbs for someone there, but for me I might need 30 carbs. This isn't a science, and I've had it for 10 years and I'm still struggling. Now, my story is not ending, and in case you haven't noticed, I've been saying I have diabetes instead of saying I'm diabetic. Because I feel that diabetes shouldn't own me. And that's what if I say I'm diabetic, it seems like that's what me as a person is. I am a lot more than diabetes. I am charismatic. I'm tenacious. I have loyalty. I'm intelligent. It's diabetes. Yes, it's an important part of my life, but it's not the only part of my life. Now, I'm still learning. It's definitely not an easy learning process. But I have so many supportive friends with me. My family is beyond supportive. And the people in my community, they are probably the only people who really know. And I think it's time for a change. More people should be aware. Unfortunately, diabetes is growing, and if you're seeing most people, if not everyone, loves someone with diabetes, this isn't. It's more of you have to be aware of everything around you. Like when I was in 10th grade, I was in the hospital because I had a severe low. My dad went to wake me up to go volunteer at the hospital, and being the teenager that I am, I didn't hear him. It wasn't the end of the world. I just got there. He said I'd get there a little late. I get out of bed and I collapse, and I start not seizing, but a little bit, and of course they were scared. I mean, luckily I was conscious, and luckily I'm able to remember it all. But it was still scary. And then freshman year of college, it was the opposite. I could have been dead. Now, this honestly is scary for me to talk about because I don't know how people would react to it. I would hope people would react in an appropriate way and not say, oh, she shouldn't have said that, because it's a part of my life. And you never know who it could happen to. So this is my story. This is my life with diabetes, and it's a constant race, and I'm intended to win the race. I'm gonna beat diabetes, and I am beyond type 1.